Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check these headlines. We got the crypto rich list. Maybe you'll be on it someday. Bitcoin for payments. Wait, what? I thought we'd been through this. We're going to get into it. Ripple is like the Energizer Bunny, just still going, and it's global, baby. U.S. Treasury stands her ground on transactions. We'll explain the IMF continued call to action, and it's massive. Brian Armstrong has some sharp remarks for the current state of crypto. You're going to want to know each and every one of them. And Raoul Pal from Real Vision has an amazing forecast for the future of cryptocurrency and the entire space. Let's go ahead and roll that beautiful intro. Here we go.
This is Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Subscribe for new content notifications. Now, here's Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Sorry about that. Had a little bit of a hang up there. I don't know what was going on. Let me refresh the page here. Couldn't get it to change over. Thanks for hanging with me here. You can follow us on Twitter at BackupBradleyAbove, and everything that we're talking about here today, even more money moving back into the space now. $2.288 trillion for the cryptocurrency market cap, 5.16% up on the 24-hour for the entire crypto space. I like seeing it. And Bitcoin is above $54,000 right now, 28.95% on the 7-day, ladies and gentlemen, over 9% of that on the 24-hour. Ethereum is at 3,500 plus right now, 22% plus, and almost 4.5% on the 24-hour as well. Cardano at $2.22 right now, and XRP is at $1.10. Put a little life back in it this morning. We're up 3.35% on the 24-hour and 15.15% on the 7-day, ladies and gentlemen. How about that one? I'll take $1.10 right now. With everything going on with XRP, $1.10 works for me. I can tell you that. All right, let's go ahead and get into the news. We got it. And by the way, the range right now, we are at $1.10. I don't know what's going on with Fiat Link here. Let's see if we refresh the page, if it'll show what it's showing on CoinMarketCap here. Fiat Link takes a long time to load that page. I tell you, I don't know what it is, but, it's always something. But nevertheless, it's showing 108, but we see 110 on CoinMarketCap. That's what we're going with. Low side of the range is at 102. We'll keep an eye on it. Let's get into the news. This, according to Forbes, there is, obviously the RIPs, the Forbes 400, Forbes 500, and all of this. And James Rule asks, James Rule XRP asks Forbes, will there be a rich list under 60 and the richest under 30 in the world? All thanks to crypto via Forbes. And it makes a great point here. Now, Forbes is using the example of FTX co-founder Sam Bankman-Fried, who built a $22.5 billion fortune before his 30th birthday by profiting off the cryptocurrency frenzy. But he's not a believer. He's not a true believer, he said. Well, listen, I think regardless of that fact, irregardless is not a word, but regardless of that fact, there is a good question asked here. How many people will be on the rich list at the age of 30 or under 60 even that are in this space right now? I don't know if you make the list, but I can tell you this. I certainly believe that a lot of you hearing my voice are going to be extremely wealthy at some point. And I don't know what you've invested in, and I don't give financial advice, but I do believe there's going to be a lot of winners out here, and there already are. I really do believe that. So let's get into this. Cross-border payments is a $4 trillion industry worldwide under the current financial system. It takes 5 days to move money right now, but in Bitcoin, says Rick Elderman, it's 10 minutes and virtually free. He says, well, Rick, first of all, I can tell you that's not 100% accurate. A couple months ago, I moved 1.4 Bitcoin, and it cost me $4,200 plus to move it. Yeah, I was walking around like I had tacks in my shoes for about 3 or 4 hours after that. And it took hours to get it moved. It was an hour and a half or 2 hours plus. I can't remember now, but it was a long time, Rick. So not exactly a solution. Now, I know that there are some things that are coming together. The project that's working with Twitter that allows you to send Bitcoin really fast. I don't know how scalable that particular option to send Bitcoin is, and I don't know if it allows you to interface with other cryptos as well, if there's interoperability there. So the scalability issue is a real thing, but just listen to this for a quick second here.
Let me just illustrate one commercial application out of thousands that exist in industries across the globe.
Get it.
Cross-border payments.
Damn right.
It's a $4 trillion industry worldwide.
It's actually
companies
bigger.
And individuals moving money from one country to another. Very often, immigrants working in one country, sending money home to their families where they were born. There's about $500 billion of individuals moving money back and forth on an annual basis. Under the current financial structure, the SWIFT system, to move money from one country to another, it takes 5 days and an average of 6.5% commission to move the money. But if you do it with Bitcoin, you can do it in 10 minutes, virtually free.
Wow. I mean, there's a guy who really, it's like, imagine pulling somebody who doesn't know where cell phones have come from and where they've gone to, and you've just introduced them to the first ever cell phone. If I didn't know where cell phones were today, I would think that is a great thing. Well, that's what Bitcoin is. Bitcoin is the first cell phone. It's the first technology that showed the rest of the world what's possible so we could be here today with smartphones. And currently today I have a Samsung Z Fold, which is amazing, by the way. Not an endorsement, not getting paid, but that's a great damn phone. Opens like a tablet. I can't get into it. It's another video. But nevertheless, the point here is that, look, I hold Bitcoin. I hold Ethereum. I want all the things to do well. Bitcoin is not a scalable long-term payment solution unless a lot of other things have to happen to make that so. Now, in the areas where it is applicable, great. But I've had, as I explained, horrible experience getting hit over the head with transaction fees and long settlement time. So with that being said, but Bitcoin is looked at more as a store of value, like a digital gold. Buy it, hold it. Over time, it goes up because people believe in it because it's not attached to the economy. In fact, in large part, it has an inverse correlation to the dollar strength, just like crypto space in general. So with that being said, not trying to beat it up, but as a payment solution, not so much, right? Not so much. Now, looking right here, and I can only imagine how excited this guy will get when he finds something like XRP or something else, because knowing XRP can settle in seconds and for thousands of a penny, I think the guy will probably absolutely lose his mind. But looking right here, we see CoinMarketCap reminds us of what we covered this morning, and I'm reminding any of you that haven't seen it, this is big deal. Qatar National Bank, or Qatar, however you like to say it, is one of the biggest financial institutions in the Middle East and North Africa, and it now plans to launch a new remittance service using RippleNet. Damn. So they looked at Bitcoin and said, not so much on the Bitcoin. We're going to go with RippleNet. Yeah, and it's because of the interoperability, the scalability, and ultimately, I believe, the access to the native token of the XRP ledger, XRP, for its full-scale benefits and intended use. Ultimately, I believe that's where it goes. All right, keep it moving here because we got a lot to talk about, and I have something to play for you, which is really pretty powerful, to be honest with you. This is Janet Yellen defends the IRS rule requiring banks to report all transactions over $600. I know as crypto investors, retail investors, we feel like, Steve Mitchell does. I can't read it, but I think he said it. He didn't mince any words. He just went ahead and got to it. But, at the end of the day, this is one more overreach to look in all of our bank accounts, all of our transactions. And Janet Yellen uses the very true fact that even your savings account interest every year is reported throughout the year to the Treasury. So this is just one more angle that is used to really start to drift into transactions as well. It just doesn't stop. But I'll tell you what, while it's not stopping, we are knowing a very real truth here. On a global level, we've seen this, and I've reported it. The IMF, the BIS are all calling for global crypto regulation. So this means it's going to take international cooperation, because if you don't, then you're going to create safe havens around the world where all these projects, companies, bad actors may go to try to loophole or backdoor around the rest of the world's regulation. So it's going to require a real global effort here. And again, because we've seen the BIS and the IMF aligned in this, who else have we seen? The World Economic Forum recently as well. And who was a part of that? Danelle Dixon from Stellar and Brad Garlinghouse from Ripple. I see a real momentum because things come from the top down. And what do I mean by that? I mean at the international level. G20, right? FATF, Financial Stability Board, G20, all of that level makes decisions about things like this. And then you start to see the rattlings from the IMF and the BIS, the World Economic Forum, and then a real plan go out into action for it to be implemented around the world. By the way, as far as implementation goes, it is recommended to change the Global Financial Stability Report to its 190 member countries, for which 110 of them are already in some phase of launching and developing a central bank digital currency. How about that? The 6-monthly dossier devotes a chapter to cryptocurrency pros, cons, regulations entitled Crypto Ecosystem and Financial Stability Challenges, rather than the fractured, disjointed rules that currently exist for crypto regulation. The IMF paints a picture of global rule book that sees consumer protection at the top of its agenda. It goes on and on and on to really say that they have alignment on many, many different issues. And again, this is just like tax arbitrage, where you see companies move to another country as a safe haven to avoid being hit from one other part of the world. This is what they want to ultimately eliminate as a part of this digital realm and fourth industrial revolution that we're moving into, right? Don't believe it, it's still true. Brian Armstrong has sharp remarks here, and this is following the testimony that we saw yesterday. He says, I do worry that as many companies as companies get to be more successful, the number of attacks from press, politicians, and trolls on CEOs and rounds of the congressional testimony makes the job not fun, and they leave from burnout. Then he cites Gates, Page, and Bezos. He says America could be losing some of its best talent from this, and has some parallels to what is happening to successful CEOs in China, what you're seeing going on over there right now. So you don't get moved to house arrest in the U.S., but it is our own version of it, putting something that gets too successful in its place, which doesn't seem very American, by the way. Hats off to you, Brian. Of course, every company deserves to have scrutiny and should take an honest look at what it's doing well and not well. But the market solves a lot of this for us. People vote with their wallets, choosing what to buy. Absolutely. And the best way to keep flawed companies in check is to have a new startup come disrupt them. Come on in. So how do you build a company today that is resistant to demoralizing attacks from trolls? The more successful it becomes? I'm not sure, but here are a few ideas. First, hire employees and build a board of independent thinkers who are insulated from biased third parties scripting their minds. Inoculate your supply chain. Second, give customers, not just employees, a sense of ownership. Crypto has pioneered this with many companies and protocols, giving users a piece of what they're helping build. Facebook would be facing a lot less hate if their users owned a piece of the network. And 9, if people felt like everyone was growing together, they would likely be a greater sense of unity. Well said, Brian Armstrong. Now, if we could just find out about Songbird, maybe we'd have a little more unity even still. Right? So I couldn't help it. Anyway, I do want to tell you that Uphold, by the way, has said that they will be making Songbird available for external wallets very soon, and then trading soon to follow after that. So head on a swivel for that, and shout out to Uphold. Now, this, I think, is really pretty strong statements here. Raoul Pal, who from Real Vision, I believe, is one of the best perspectives and minds in this space. I have such a respect for this man. And I want you to hear what he lays out about where we are right now and how we come out the other side of this thing when it comes to, is crypto securities or not securities? He lays this down. I don't think any better, or no one could say it any better than he does. Let's listen here. And thanks to Run Guys for this video and Savvy Finance for which it may have come from. So listen to this.
So firstly, there's a couple of battles going on. Gensler has not got the right entirely to regulate crypto. There's the OCC and the CFTC, and maybe even the Fed themselves, who are interested in this. So there is a fight within Washington who regulates this. But obviously, if you're the head of the Securities Exchange Commission, then you want the word security to be attached to everything, as opposed to currency, because that goes to the OCC, right? So this is politics for starters. But the question is are most cryptocurrencies securities under the definition? And the interview with Michael Saylor that's out on the platform today on Real Vision Crypto, we talk about this, and they probably are. And that's what freaks everybody out. Oh my God, it's a security. The security thing is a red herring, because what does that mean? What it means is to issue things, you would have to have more regulatory red tape. It's very costly to do. If it's a security, you can only issue it to certain people. So what are they going to do? Are they going to go back and prosecute 7,500 people for all of the tokens that have been launched? No, that's ridiculous. Are they going to cherry pick a few and try and take them to court? Yes. That's where the battle starts. What is a security and what does it mean? The end result is going to be a grand bargain, because securities laws written in 1934 are simply not suitable for this current time. And so the securities law themselves will have to change, whether it's a digital asset law that comes into place or they rewrite securities laws, but that will change. Also, if you think about the political backdrop about the 99% and the 1%, the rich getting richer, if you honestly think it's a good idea to not give the public access to the best investment class in terms of performance the world has ever seen, then you are really making some bad decisions. So what does he want to do? He talks about basically consumer safety. And consumer safety, that's going to be about, I think, the onus has to go on the consumer. You and I can go to Vegas and throw anything on the table and lose it all, everything. We can mortgage the house and do it. No regulation, zero. But heaven forbid if we buy a token, because it might be a scam. Really, if that's the issue, then firstly give people warnings. Maybe the exchanges say, if you want to buy this, you have to understand it's a high-risk asset because it's a low market cap, and therefore you should be aware that you could lose everything. That's okay. Risk warnings are fine. But to say you can't take a risk is crazy. This is why Wall Street gets richer all the time, because to get access, you have to do it via a financial institution. It's the same with venture capital. Yes, we can do some crowdfunding stuff now, and it's opened up a bit, but it's still not fully opened up unless you're an accredited investor. So apparently, if you have $1 million, you're not dumb money, and anybody less than $1 million is dumb money. I mean, that's insulting to people. What, does money define your ability to understand risk? No. Does it define your ability to take risk? No. What defines your ability to take risk is how much a percentage of your assets you're going to risk in it, which is risk management. Two different things. So all of this is going to have to change. The accredited investor rules, they're going to have to change. Just simply not acceptable to force the millennials, 86 million of them, out of a marketplace because somebody in Washington says, well, they're not safe for you guys, but leave it to us. Let the other guys deal with that, the rich guys and Wall Street. And we'll give you a product after we've layered in some fees. No, just not going to happen. So there is a fight that's going to come. The industry will not accept this, and there will be a compromise, because we know there's KYC, we know there's AML. Those are without question going to happen. Tax compliance without question will happen. And then beyond that, there has to be risk warnings, caveat emptor, let the buyer beware, and there has to be some regulation, some oversight over scams. So there's maybe some way of getting back money and other insights. But for somebody to have, who's got the power, the voice of God, to say that is a scam and that is not a scam? Oh, well, Polkadot, well, that could be a security. You can't invest in that unless you've got $1 million. Or this is just cannot happen. If the US does this, this is the fastest growing adoption of any technology in all human history. There's 150 million people worldwide using crypto right now. By my estimate, we get to a billion people by 2024. If that's the case, then this market is going offshore. It is not.
Now think about that statement. You get to 1 billion people using this tech by 2024, and you haven't solved the problems that they're having here in the United States with regulatory wars, because this fight ain't over by a long shot with crypto and regulators, is what he's saying. Then you're going to drive all of this innovation in tech offshore. That's the real threat here. You're not going to stop the tech, but you may drive the innovation completely out of this country. That's going to do it for me. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe, leave a comment below, share with somebody you know. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. PureVPN, help hide your identity online, 99-cent 7-day trial. By the way, Ledger Nano cold storage. Plenty of deals and specials, but you got to click the links. I'll catch you on the next one.